The NBA is officially back, and everything we thought we knew is about to get flipped on its head. The 2025 to 2026 season tips off tonight, and with so many storylines already bubbling up before the first tip, it only makes sense to dive straight into some bold predictions. Not just any predictions, though. This is about who's going to walk away with the hardware when it's all said and done. From MVP to Coach of the Year, from scoring champion to most improved, this is the moment where we plant our flags and call our shots. Let's start with the biggest of them all, the most valuable player. Look, Nikola Jokic has already etched his name in NBA history multiple times over, and yet it still feels like he's just hitting his stride. He's not only still in his prime, he's arguably getting better with each season. The way he commands the floor, the triple-doubles that now feel routine, the way his presence elevates everyone around him. It's hard to look at the landscape of the league and not think he's the clear frontrunner once again. Yes, last season ended with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander snatching that MVP nod in dramatic fashion, and rightfully so, after one of the most dominant all-around seasons we've seen in recent memory. But Jokic is coming back with a vengeance, fully reloaded and ready to reclaim the crown. Expect another masterclass in efficiency and leadership from the big man in Denver. Now, as for the scoring champion, this one feels tailor-made for Luka Doncic. With LeBron James likely to miss a significant chunk of time early in the season and question marks all over the Lakers supporting cast, there's a real chance that Luka absolutely lights it up from day one. He's going to be asked to carry a massive offensive load, and with his skill set, that's not a burden, it's an opportunity. Sure, there are concerns about his efficiency. Luka isn't shy about letting it fly, and that might lead to some nights where the numbers aren't pretty. But in terms of raw production, shot creation, and sheer volume, he's got everything it takes to lead the league in points per game. He's surrounded by capable but inconsistent players, which means when the Mavs need buckets, it's going to fall on Luka's shoulders. Don't be shocked if he flirts with 35 points a night and drops several 40-point performances before we hit the All-Star break. On the defensive end, things get even more interesting. If last year was any indication of what's to come, then Victor Wembanyama is not just knocking on the door of Defensive Player of the Year. He's ready to kick it down. The guy was already averaging nearly 4.5 blocks per game over a lengthy stretch despite battling injuries and physical setbacks. And now, healthier, more experienced, and with a better understanding of NBA pace and spacing, Wemby looks poised to dominate on that end of the floor. His presence in the paint completely changes how teams attack the rim. We've already seen flashes of brilliance from him. Highlight blocks, full court chases, ridiculous timing. This year feels like the one where he finally puts it all together consistently. And while guys like Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, or even Bam Adebayo might make their cases, Wembanyama has the upside, the opportunity, and now the team structure to be the most impactful defender in the league. Don't be surprised if he ends the season not just with the DPOY trophy, but also sitting comfortably in the MVP conversation. Rookie of the Year might feel like a more open race, but if we're being honest, Cooper Flagg is stepping into a situation most number one picks only dream about. He's not joining a bottom dweller with no direction. He's stepping into a Mavericks team that's built to win now, full of veteran leadership and already playoff bound. That kind of environment changes everything. Flagg won't have to carry the scoring load from day one, and that's a blessing in disguise. He'll be able to focus on his all-around game, rebounding, defending, facilitating, and learn from some of the best in the business. Whether it's Kyrie Irving's handle, D'Angelo Russell's pacing, or Anthony Davis's interior dominance, Cooper has all the tools around him to develop quickly. His shot from deep might need time, especially after a rough showing in Summer League and preseason, but if he can just hover around 32% from beyond the arc, the rest of his game might be strong enough to lock this award up before the season wraps. And while we're on the topic of high-pressure moments, Clutch Player of the Year is another one to keep an eye on. Again, Luka Doncic makes a strong case here, and for more reasons than just his scoring. The Mavericks, and particularly the Lakers, are going to be in tight games all year long. That's just the reality of being a middle-of-the-pack team with flashes of brilliance and just as many flaws. Luka thrives in those moments, in a shot clock, end of game, high-pressure possessions where every dribble matters. And while players like Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and even Jokic will have their share of clutch moments, Luka's situation almost guarantees he'll be in position to rack up clutch stats game after game. In a league that values game-winning plays as much as highlight reels, Luka might just sweep both the scoring title and the Clutch Player of the Year award. Let's talk about depth now. The Sixth Man of the Year award might end up being the trickiest one to pin down, especially with the way rotations are constantly evolving early in the season. But if everything goes according to plan, Jonathan Kuminga has a real shot at taking this one. He's got all the tools: athleticism, improved shooting touch, defensive versatility, and he showed serious signs of growth in the preseason. The only potential snag is if he ends up starting too many games due to injuries or strategic adjustments, which could make him ineligible for the award. But assuming he remains a consistent spark off the bench, there's no question he can average close to 20 points a night while impacting the game in a bunch of different ways. He's starting to look like someone who not only belongs, but is hungry to prove he can be a star in his own right. This season could be his breakout. And speaking of breakouts, the most improved player conversation always brings some surprises. But right now, Benedict Mathurin looks like a clear favorite. With Tyrese Halliburton's health up in the air and other key players either missing or uncertain for extended stretches, Mathurin is going to have the green light more often than not. He's already shown he can score in bunches, and now he's adding more tools to his bag. He recently dropped 30 points on perfect shooting from deep in just 20 minutes during the preseason. That's not just a fluke. That's a sign of a player who's ready to take the next step. His confidence is growing, and so is his responsibility within the Pacers' offense. With opportunity and talent on his side, he could easily go from promising young player to all-star candidate in just a matter of months. Finally, we land on Coach of the Year, and here's where things get a bit political, but also exciting. If the Denver Nuggets end up as the #1 seed in the Western Conference again, and all signs point to that being a real possibility, then David Adelman is going to be hard to ignore. It will be his first full season at the helm, and that narrative always plays well with voters. First-year head coaches who take their teams to the top of the standings tend to get a lot of love, and Adelman is in prime position to ride that wave. Sure, other names like Mike Brown from the Knicks, Mark Daigneault with the Thunder, or even Steve Kerr if the Warriors surprise the league, will be in the mix. But Adelman, stepping into a huge role and keeping a championship-caliber team playing an elite level, has the perfect blend of story and success that makes for a Coach of the Year winner. As the season unfolds, the chaos and intensity of the regular grind will start to separate contenders from pretenders. And that's where these award races really get fun. Because as soon as expectations start to shift, narratives begin to form, and we're reminded just how unpredictable the NBA really is. A player might start the year on fire, only to cool off by December. A coach might begin with a 10-game win streak, but a mid-season slump could change everything. That's why these predictions, bold as they are, also have to leave room for surprise. Because it's coming. It always does. Take Luka, for example. There's a very real scenario where not only does he lead the league in scoring and clutch moments, but he also pushes the Mavericks into a top 4 seed in the West. If that happens, he jumps right into serious MVP territory. Yes, Jokic is the current favorite, and rightly so. But if Luka plays upwards of 70 games, keeps his efficiency near league average, and continues to deliver game winners with regularity, voters might not be able to ignore that combination of volume and impact, especially if Dallas wins more games than expected. And that's the thing. Sometimes these races aren't about who's the best player, but who captures the season's biggest moments. Luka has that ability. So while he might not be the frontrunner today, he's right on the edge. Victor Wembanyama, on the other hand, could turn this whole season into a statement campaign. Not just defensively, but across the board. We already know he's a shot-blocking machine, but his offensive polish is beginning to turn heads, too. He's showing better footwork, better range, and an improved understanding of how to control the pace of the game from the post and beyond the arc. The scary part is he's still learning. If he continues on this current trajectory, We might be watching the birth of the next great two-way force in the league. And if the Spurs find a way to stay competitive for the play-in, that only strengthens his case for both Defensive Player of the Year and an All-NBA spot. It's no longer a stretch to say Wemby might end the season with multiple accolades, something few players in history have ever done in just their second year. Now, shifting back to the rookies, Cooper Flagg remains in a unique position. He doesn't have to put up 25 a night or carry the team offensively to win Rookie of the Year. What makes his case so compelling is how impactful he can be without dominating the stat sheet. He'll have nights where the numbers look quiet, maybe 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but the tape will show how many plays he alters, how often he makes the right read, and how comfortable he is in big moments. That kind of maturity is rare for a first-year player, especially on a team with playoff expectations. The Mavericks don't need him to be a savior. They need him to be smart, disciplined, and ready. And Cooper is built for that role. If he stays healthy, stays focused, and find a rhythm by midseason, he could be the obvious choice by April. But the Rookie of the Year race might not be a cakewalk. There are always surprises, players who get more opportunity due to injuries, trades, or unexpected leaps. That's why even though Cooper Flagg looks like the favorite right now, the door is always open. It wouldn't be shocking to see a name like Ron Holland or Isaiah Collier suddenly catch fire and turn the race into a 2- or 3-man sprint. It happens every year. But Cooper's position on a winning team, surrounded by experience, gives him a steady platform that others may not have. When it comes to 6th Man of the Year, the path is narrower, but the challenge is just as steep. Jonathan Kuminga has the raw ability to dominate second units. He can score at all 3 levels, defend multiple positions, and rebound in traffic. What's been missing is consistency. That's what this year is about for him, proving he can show up every single night, no matter the opponent or game situation. If he embraces that role, if he starts producing 18 to 20 points consistently off the bench, he's going to be impossible to ignore. There's something about a young player accepting a team-first role and thriving in it that tends to capture the attention of voters. And with the Warriors in win-now mode, they're going to need Kuminga to be the spark plug, especially when the starters rest. If he delivers in that role, this award might be his to lose. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Golden State Warriors fans might want to sit down before reading this. Whispers around the league are growing louder. Steph Curry, the heart and soul of the Warriors for over a decade, could be on the move. Sources close to the team hint that the 7-time All-Star is seriously considering leaving the Bay Area, sending shockwaves through fans and analysts alike. For many, this isn't just a trade rumor. It feels like the end of an era. Curry's impact on the Warriors is immeasurable. From leading the team to multiple championships to redefining the way basketball is played with his unparalleled shooting, he's been more than just a player. He's been a cultural phenomenon. Yet, behind the smiles and celebrations, insiders suggest there's tension brewing over the future direction of the team. The whispers point to a desire for a fresh start, perhaps a chance to chase another chapter in his storied career. The implications of Curry leaving would be enormous. The Warriors roster, built around his talents, would face an uncertain future. Fans would be left grappling with the reality of seeing their beloved superstar don another jersey, and the NBA landscape itself would shift dramatically. Teams eager for a superstar might see this as a rare opportunity, while analysts are already debating where he could land, if indeed this rumor materializes into reality. Social media is ablaze with reactions ranging from disbelief to outright heartbreak. Memes and tributes flood timelines as fans struggle to process the idea of a Warriors world without Curry. Commentators call it potentially the saddest day in basketball history, and it's hard to argue with that sentiment. For a generation that grew up watching Curry's long-range magic and clutch moments, the mere thought of him leaving is almost unthinkable. Whether this is just speculation or the start of an unavoidable transition, one thing is clear. The basketball world is holding its breath. As more whispers emerge, One can only imagine the internal conversations happening in Golden State's front office and locker room. Will the Warriors fight to keep their superstar, or is this the beginning of a new chapter, both for Curry and for the league itself? Fans may not have answers yet, but one thing is certain. If Curry does leave, it will mark a historic, bittersweet turning point in NBA history. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.